I need to drink. Give me 1 second. Woo! So yeah, what are we doing today? What have I, spent all day setting up for? Ask Alex. I'm giving mediocre advice, and you can use hashtag Ask Alex with your problems, and I will attempt to help you out. My husband keeps leaving his socks in the same place. He knows this ain't it. I've shamed him by draping them over his computer monitor. What other forms of revenge should I do until he stops? Okay, first off, I wouldn't take revenge out on him. I would say maybe, but if they're really struggling to like pick up their socks, I think you should sit them down and be like, hey, this is really bothering me. If you want to go to the extremes, if you've done all that and you're like, you know what, it is what it is, just start throwing them out. Obviously, you're not going to leave your husband over socks because that's absolutely ludicrous. You could just start taking the socks and be like, every time I find your socks on the floor, I'm just going to throw them out. So much money. Yeah, so much money. But hey, you know what? At the end of the day, it'll make them stop putting their fucking socks on the ground if it bothers you that much. I need a stupid debate settled. Yes. Say you have 2 lasagnas. You take one and put it on the other. Do you have just 1 lasagna or do you have 2? Alternatively, if you have 1 lasagna to start with, then quarter it, do you then have 4? What is the definition of lasagna? Is it a set number of layers in a lasagna? I'm gonna look it up right now. Pasta in the form of wide strips. A baked Italian dish consisting of wide strips of pasta cooked and layered with meat or vegetables, cheese, and tomato sauce. I want to say if you layer a lasagna on top of another lasagna, it's now just 1 lasagna, but I think it depends on how it was baked. Like, if you can't just take a lasagna out, cut it into 4 and be like, now I have 4 lasagnas, because you didn't craft them or make them separately as 4 different dishes, right? So I think whatever is in the pot and baked together makes it the lasagna. You can have it 10 layers high, I don't give a shit. But whatever you cook it with, whatever is being baked, because it says baked pasta with all these different layers. So if it's not baked in the same dish, then it's a different dish. Because if you're taking one dish and putting something on top of it, now there's like that top layer of the lasagna that's already been cooked and browned is now in the middle of the lasagna, and that's not how you cook a lasagna. So if you put one on top of another, it's still just 2 lasagnas, unless they were cooked together as one. How do you push yourself to finish a task when your brain says no? Bro, I'm still learning how to do this, like 10,000%. I struggle with this every single day. So one thing that I have found that really works for me, or at least works every once in a while, what I do is I have a business Discord and I have a channel called Alluux to do. And anytime anything comes up, I'll add it to the list of something I need to do. I will try to make sure I get 1 to-do thing done a day. And they could be as small as respond to this person on Twitter. Don't make them crazy large. Don't make them like, hit 5,000 subs. Don't make things that are absolutely astronomical, because I find the smaller things I have makes me motivated to start tackling the bigger things. So if I have a whole list of stuff, it's like, okay, I responded to that person on Twitter. Perfect. I sent that email. Perfect. And then I add a little react check mark to them, and it's so satisfying. I am so bad, 1, at procrastinating, and 2, I'm really, really bad with remembering things that I have to do. So putting them into lists, it's absolutely saved me. How do you put your passions into something that is / or becomes a lucrative career? Here's the thing with that, right? Do what you're passionate about. And if you have hobbies and stuff, do them. And eventually you can turn it into a lucrative career. But if you're trying, it depends on what your passion is, right? It sometimes takes a while before you can figure that out. Like, I really wanted to be an artist when I was younger, and I didn't really know how to capitalize on that. I ended up going to school for graphic design, and graphic design was my passion for a while. And I ended up starting to do, graphic design streams. I used to give away free graphic design banners that I'd make for people. And I would do stream assets and stuff like that. Graphic design is my prison. Yeah, I feel that, milk tea. And it's funny because I'm a Twitch streamer now, which when you think graphic design, you wouldn't think Twitch streamer. But for example, everything on this stream today, I do myself, right? So it's something that I have in my back pocket that I can utilize to help push my other passions forward. But the biggest thing I think is, if you really want to turn your passions into a business, you really have to do it as a side hustle until you can give it enough for it to be on its own, right? Is it weird that I, a 23-year-old female, haven't ever been in a relationship? I find it hard to just make friends. Any advice on getting myself out there? I wouldn't say it's weird. I think that it's more common nowadays than it was, 10 years ago. I think that relationships, Here's the problem, right? When you're go searching for a relationship, that's normally when you aren't able to find one, because people don't realize that they have this air of desperation to them, that they're like, I need to find a relationship. And I feel like that rings true to people. Like, if you're not being genuine about things, then it definitely shows. We live in a day and age where it's a lot easier to superficially meet people, but it's very, very hard to make deep connections with people. Making friends and stuff like that it's hard. It's hard, especially in the position that I am in, that you know, you never know what people want or what their intentions are. My suggestion for you is, like, I'm not saying Twitch is a dating app, because it's not. I'm not saying Discord is a dating app, because it's not.
Stop the cap.
But if you ever want to just start off with making friends and trying to make meaningful connections, Discord's a really good way to do it, because you already know that you have a shared passion. How do I make my 27-year-old man-child, it's Macau, eat any vegetables or greens? Should I make a rule of no greens, no head? I just want him to eat more healthy. My editor. Oven roasted, no greens, no head sounds hot. Okay, don't hold that above him, because it should be something you both enjoy, you know?
Your Mac friend, Brent Rambo.
If you're trying to get him to eat veggies, again, my suggestion is find a restaurant that has some really good vegetable dishes that don't just taste like, you know, green beans and butter. Something that's like really, really good that you can get him to try out, that's has a little bit more to it. But Macau, eat some fucking greens, bro. How do you sleep at night? Literally, what's your night routine? Skincare, sleep with TV on, do you get 8 hours, etc.? This isn't as much of an advice, but I'll answer this anyway. I sleep when I'm tired. My routine is I always do full skincare before going to bed. I try to get full 8 hours, sometimes 9 hours, honestly. I am tired 99% of the time, so I try to get as much sleep as I can. Okay, sci-fi girl. I've never learned how to do makeup. Where would you suggest to start? We live in a day and age where it's so easy to get information on how to do makeup. YouTube. There's just like a plethora of tutorials and stuff on YouTube. My suggestion was just type in easy first timer tutorials and find someone that you like.
Hi, sisters.
It's overwhelming. That's fair. That's fair. It is overwhelming. And if you're not a type of person that wants to use the internet to find tutorials, which I doubt, because, you know, you guys are sitting in a Twitch chat, go to like Sephora, get a makeup application done. It is $50. I don't know if it's still the same. When I worked there, it was you have to spend a minimum of $50 on makeup, and the makeup application is free. Yeah, I'm scared of them. Don't be scared of them. What piece of advice do you have for someone on the fence about pursuing their passion versus staying in a well-paying and at times rewarding but mentally draining job? I'm a paramedic and exhausted. This is hard, right? I'm a bad person to ask, because I will always say follow your passion, but it really depends on if you're actually good at your passion. If it's something you're passionate about, if you've done it on the side, or something that you know, and there's people that you trust telling you that you are good at what you're passionate about, I'd say go for it. Sometimes you're just not good at your passion. Like when I was younger, I wanted to be a famous singer, guys. Okay, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a singer. I'm gonna be, you know, on that stage. I'm gonna be the next Adele. Like I was like, so like, I'm gonna be a singer. I realized that I have crippling stage fright. So I'm not even able to sing in front of people. So, and also I'm not good. So sometimes you gotta pivot. And I went with streaming instead. So I've been talking with this one girl I've been friends with for a long time. She has been waiting to hang out a lot. I really like her. I think she might be interested in me. I would appreciate any advice. Ooh, Vinny. It depends, right? If she's just like, oh, let's just hang out, and like there doesn't really seem to be anything coming from it, she might just want to be friends. If you don't know, then just be like, hey, do you want to go on a date? Put yourself out there. If you really like this person and you don't want it to turn into just a friendship and you wouldn't be happy with just a friendship, be like, hey, I want to take you to the movies and go for dinner this week. You down? Shoot your shot, as they say. Yeah, just be like, hey, I've been really enjoying hanging out with you. Can I take you to dinner? Make some sort of stance that tells her, hey, I'd be down to be more than just friends. I'm really down to like hang out and also more, you know? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have been enjoying all the segments that we've been doing in the last week or so.